Hello and welcome to the Midwestern Martial Arts Podcast. We got our very first interview, former UFC middleweight Smilin Sam Alvey. So thank you so much for being with us, Sam.
Hey, thank you guys for wanting me on.
Absolutely.
For sure. So the first question I want to ask, one of your biggest wins in the UFC was over Rashad Evans. Would you say that was your biggest win?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the win that everybody. I can tell them I've got 25 fights, but it's Rashad Evans' fight that everybody knows. Everybody knows who Rashad Evans is, and that's the one that impresses people.
Right. And that fight actually went to a split decision. Were you upset about that when it happened? Because we just rewatched the fight, and you put a whooping on Rashad. I mean, he held you against the cage a little bit, but then you were landing strikes every time.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the split going into it, but the judges in the UFC have always hated me. So I'm glad two of them squeaked me by. But yeah, I stuffed every takedown of his. Dan Henderson even got taken down by him, and I did not.
Yeah, we were just talking about your takedown defense. You know, us being wrestlers, especially, we like to watch that stuff. So it was pretty awesome to see. Was that kind of the game plan going into that fight? Like, all right, let's stop his wrestling and pick him apart from the outside, or was it more of like a counter offense thing for you?
For me, it's usually a counter offense thing. I've always been good at stopping takedowns. I think I'm the fourth highest in UFC history for the takedown defense rating. So I've always been good at that. And knowing him, watching how he fought Dan Henderson, my coach, so well, he's probably going to come out and do something similar to me, and I was able to stop him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the way you were digging that underhook was nice. So you had your amateur debut in 2007. Had you been involved with combat sports before then, or what kind of experience did you have, and what made you want to get in the cage?
No, I'd never done anything before that. It was really some guy said, "Hey, you want to fight?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." I didn't know the rules. Round one, I dropped the guy immediately, and I thought I won the fight. So hands went up, celebrating, and then he got back up, and the fight continues. Oh, yeah. So round two, he took me down and beat me up. So well, okay, learning lesson. Fight doesn't stop.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was something else.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you originally you were a wrestler in high school, correct?
Kinda,
yeah.
So I wrestled junior, senior year of high school, and then junior, senior year of college. I was a good practice dummy for the good guys. I enjoyed doing it. I was never a real wrestler, but I practiced with them every day.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Yeah, and that kind of helps you almost transition into that MMA style as well. Was there anything else besides wrestling that really got you interested in MMA or got you started in MMA besides the people just telling you, "Hey, you want to fight"?
No, I was a band nerd. I played trumpet for forever. I was real good at the trumpet. Trumpet just never paid me anything. And eventually, I think I was an amateur for like 4 months, and then I turned pro. And I said, "Hey, we'll give you $50 to fight here." I said, "I'm in." And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's kind of how it started. It was just to make pocket change.
Nice. At what point did you decide you want to go on The Ultimate Fighter? And what was that experience?
I had tried out probably 3 or 4 times before I got it, and they kept cutting my weight class. I tried out at 205, they cut it. Tried out at 85, they cut it. Tried out at 70, they cut it. And then eventually they called me, "Hey, can you still make 70?" And I lied and said, yeah, I can do that. And then I did it. So yeah, then I made 70, and I was 170 pound twice.
Wow. So you kind of bounced around a bunch of different weight classes within fighting since you started.
I'm one of the, I think there's 3 guys in UFC's history that has knocked somebody out in 3 different weight classes, and I'm one of them. 170, nice. 185 and 205.
That's awesome. And going off kind of the Ultimate Fighter experience, how was it living in that house? You know, we watch it kind of from, the couches here, and it's a different point of view when you're actually living that experience for such a long period of time. Just kind of explain that living in the house with a bunch of different fighters.
Yeah, so I was the Let Me Bang Bro season. That was my.
I noticed that, yeah.
And that night was hilarious. That night was fantastic. Most of the time is really boring though. It's the UFC. They put liquor in every room, hoping you get drunk. But it just doesn't happen that much because we're all professionals trying to be the best. He lost his fight and he got drunk, and so the night went off. But for the most part, you're stuck in that nice house with the same 15 other guys for 6 weeks, and there's just they don't give you books, radios, nothing. Yeah, so it gets really boring, really tedious.
But and yeah, I noticed we were rewatching the "Let Me Bang Bro" video, and you were right in the middle of that. You were holding back Julian Lane at one point. Was that scary at all, or just more funny?
No, it was more funny. So I had going into the season, I knew the secret was whenever the cameras are filming something, be there, whether I care about it or not.
Right.
So that was they started filming. I said, "All right, I'm in this." I had no interest in what he was whining about or any of that. But it's fun now because probably once a month I get tagged in that video still.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's hilarious. Yeah, you're even on the thumbnail. I think it's you see Julian Lane freaking out, and you're in the background just cheesing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Kind of just going off of that, did that jumpstart you to go into Team Quest with Henderson? Or how did you get set up with them? Was that straight off the Ultimate Fighter, or did you kind of work towards that a little bit?
No,
more?
I was on the Ultimate, or I was at Henderson's before that.
Okay.
A year or two, something like that. I was there for a while out at Team Quest. And it was being at that gym gave me the confidence to really go and try and succeed on the Ultimate Fighter.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I saw you fought Gerald Mearshart right before you were in the UFC.
Yeah, I fought him twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have won. So he and I won 7 out of 8 rounds. When we fought the first fight, I beat him up for 4.5 rounds, and then he choked me out. That son of a gun. I went on to go on a tear. I started winning everywhere else, and they wanted the rematch because I was going to be the ticket to getting them into UFC, and so I took it, and I won that one too. Then,
nice.
Yeah, we saw also that you were fighting. I think it was 6 or 7 times in like a 12-month span. There it was tying Cerrone for the most. What was the kind of the game plan behind that? Was it just like fight as many times as I can and get my name out there, or was it just the willing to fight over and over?
Just the willing to fight. I mean, 6 times in a year isn't even that much for me. I've had a couple of years where I fought 10 or 12 times.
Yeah.
Back to back to back to back. It was like if it's offered, that's the reason I've had the longevity in the UFC is if it's offered, I've always said yes. Said, Larry, let's do it.
Right, they appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, I've gotten them out. I've saved a couple cards for them.
Yeah,
by fighting on short notice, or
yeah, I would still be in the UFC if I didn't take so many short notice fights.
That's funny. You also fought former University of Iowa wrestler Paul Bradley. I think it went to no contest or split decision or something. What was the story behind that fight?
Yeah. So I fought him in the rain. We were the main event on a King of the Cage card on an outdoor event up in Lac de Flambeau, Wisconsin. And it started raining during the co-main event. So the promoter came up and said, "Hey guys, it's going to be no contest no matter what, but we'll give you an extra $1,000 to the winner if you go out and fight in the rain." And we said, wow. Yeah, okay, let's do it. So we went out there. And, awesome. If you've ever seen the movie Here Comes the Boom,
yeah,
scene where they're fighting in the rain, it was like that. I mean, you couldn't stand your ground. You just slip and fall. And we did that for a round. And then the owner of the casino, he came out and put an end to it. He said, "All right, no more. We'll split the $1,000.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. It's like out of a movie.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also kind of bouncing off that a little bit, with fighting at so many weight classes that you did, within your pro and amateur career, how hard was the transition between each weight class, especially as you started going up in competition?
I don't think there was any real difference between 85 and 205 or 170 and 85. It was just, I've always been a big dude, and the guys, for the most part, my entire career, I've been the second biggest guy at the gym. So everyone I train with has always been, 60 or 70 pounds heavier than me. Right. Just the way it always worked out. And so going up a weight class, I was still fighting guys smaller than I'm used to training with.
Right. Who would you say is your best training partner over the years? Is it Henderson or?
Dan Henderson's way up on the list. Sean Strickland's way up there. Jared Vendera, he's one I've trained a lot with. I've had a lot of good training partners, sparring partners over the years. Team Quest really was a good camp. They put together some good fights for me.
For sure. Absolutely. Strickland's not as crazy as he makes himself seem.
Nope, he's 100% as crazy as he seems. He's crazy as a fox.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah. I'm about out of questions if you want to wrap it up. Anything else you want to talk about, Sam, or promote or anything?
Shoot, follow me on TikTok. I love TikTok. I've been addicted to it from the moment I started that app. Yeah. So I answer questions on that all the time.
For sure. Follow Sam's TikTok, everyone. All right. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.